I would have said a house doesn't, I don't want a house that has restrictions or anything in place that prevents me from doing what I want to do with it. But the house kept on pulling and said, no, you have to go on this journey, and somehow the pieces will fall in place, and it will work out. So, and it's ironic that the original owner of the farm next door that they sold and moved away last year. So this guy, I don't know who he is. He's just a new neighbor, and he's not using the house as a farm. So he won't possibly not need the well. And yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? And how we're just invited to go on this journey, and we just don't know what the outcome's going to be, but that's not what it's about. It's about saying yes to this and growing, saying yes to growth, saying yes to participate. But if you just sit here and you always say no to these invitations, what are you actually doing? You know? And it's an invitation to go jump right in. It feels daunting. It's like, ooh, okay, might run into some issues, but everything can be worked out. And that's as well what this call tonight is about. Saying yes and finding your sacred yes and coming into that space where you feel that affirmation, where you feel the invitation, and you just come onto the dance floor and you do this tango. And as you do, you realize how exciting it is, how much feeling there is. I notice this a lot, you know, life gets so much more intense. And it's okay to feel it in your body. It's okay to feel all the feels. And I guess as light workers, or generally speaking, we've had great issues with fully coming into the body, fully feeling and saying yes to life. But it's like there's no other option right now, because we want to learn more about the physical. We want to learn this spiritualized matter thing where we apply what we know, what we've learned, and we've traveled far in the inner space. So now we want to turn that into action. So tonight I'm inviting you to journey with me into your sacred yeses. And those are so very personal and unique. And they've got to do with your own visions and dreams. And the dream doesn't have to be like, not look like a world-changing dream. It just needs to be worth it to you. Everything else doesn't matter. It needs to be so exciting feeling, and you have to get to that pull that you feel in your heart, where saying no would just be feeling it's not an option. It's just not an option. So I'm inviting you to first do a little review. The many, 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 many points in your life where you have already answered this call. And there are so many choices that you've already made. in different areas of your life. Maybe as a mother, you remember getting ready to welcome a soul, or maybe you felt a soul wants to come through you. And at this point where we already are very conscious and aware, you would have given a yes, a go ahead. Because at this point now in our life, we have a lot of choice. So how did that feel when you just knew it's a yes? This is a yes, and I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how I'm going to give birth. I know there are risks. It's going to change me. It's going to change my family. But despite all of that, you found your sacred yes. So just tune into that life affirming yes space. And notice the qualities of that space. And see how that space sits within your body. The body is great at translating that feeling. The body is great at directing, giving you that sense of direction, like that pull that I was talking about. And see how that yes feels in your body. And then you can feel that yes, like a compass, a direction giver, reflecting into your outside space and your environment and the different directions you could take. And you let that needle of this compass fine-tune the direction. And just take a moment and play with this direction giver, sacred direction giver. And see if you can become more aware of what it is doing with your body and your spine. It will likely straighten your body up. Amazing. It's fully grounding you in that direction. Fine-tuning communicating with your body. Moving the vertebrae in your spine, aligning everything. Because the spine receives the signal to move. And the interesting thing is that when we make a choice to move with that sacred yes, our spines are straight, and that will ripple and create a resonance so that all the other pieces in our environment also will move in line. Can you feel that? There is like a direct, yeah, beautiful. It's like a direct sort of energy affecting everything else. And here we are fully in the masculine action. So the sacred yes is the beautifully balanced masculine and feminine. The feminine receives the direction, feels the pull, and then in that pull, you have the movement. In that feeling of the pull, you have the movement and the action. So in some way, we've been in the feminine, in the inner space, which is interesting, refining. And now we are meeting the action, the outer space, the masculine. What you are feeling right now is the quantum field of your life through which you navigate in your sacred yes. So a choice is a strong energy. It's a strong pull. If you confidently follow the pull, you send out a completely different message into your environment. Let's play a little bit with the nuance. So, in this house situation, for example, I could have said, I feel the pull strongly, but I'm hesitating. And all that does is it keeps me from moving, and it keeps things from moving. See if you can find an area in your life right now where you feel a pull, a strong pull, but you hesitate. You're not quite sure. It could be just a pull to expand in terms of your work, offer something new, something different, ask for higher pricing, for example, ask for different ways to work together. Maybe what you want right now is a commitment, something that you can feel deeply inside you, that this is the way you want to hold and guide others, but you've got doubts because you don't know exactly how that's going to be possible. And we're just allowing a place for those doubts or questions. Let's call them questions. Because they absolutely should be there. They're part of us. So create this container for the questions. And perhaps you can feel that these questions, they're not actually related to the pull that you're feeling. They're just a consequence of the pull that you're feeling, but they don't question your pull. Can you feel that? Amazing. So, and the questions, what they do, they make us feel insecure about our decisions. But that's actually not the point of the questions. So we come up with these questions because we want to make sure that we're making the right choices, or that we think of the different things that will come up with a choice. So they do have a place, but we need to put them in the right place. Perfect. Now go from the questions or the container of the questions back to your yes and that navigation, the compass. And feel them as totally different, distinct areas. And assign now a driver. Assign the pull or the compass as the main one making the decisions. And the question container is just your co-pilot. And now with every driver or pilot, we trust him, we trust her. They absolutely know how to get us from A to B. They know what to do when we encounter a storm or rain. They know how to drive at night. And reflect here on the qualities of this driver, of your own driver. And what the qualities evoke in you. And you may be able to relax a little more into this guidance. Maybe you can feel things, situations become a little or look a little more simple, feel a little more easy. Because you just know that you can trust your driver. We waste a lot of energy or we lose a lot of energy when we are constantly worrying. So perhaps now you can take some of this energy back because you know the questions that arise, you will just place them in this container next to the driver. And you will deal with them when the right moment comes. Because for now, you know, you're just following the route. So within this navigation system that you just set up, you can navigate pretty much anything present right now in your life, in your work, in your family. Just take a moment to look into this field, this quantum field of your life. Using this refined navigation system now to direct you. So we get this beautiful feeling of movement. Because the only direction is forward. Right through whatever's present. And you know You will weather whatever comes up on the route, on your route. Getting you from A to B. You can feel into your pull again, or like, for example, the land that you know, this is my land, or this is my house, this is where I'm going to live, this is where I'm going to create. Or it could be a relationship, just something that feels tangible, that feels true, something that you know is facts. And you see that specific dream or vision appear as a point of destination. And as you navigate towards it, you know the route. Your driver knows the route. And let that pull or that body sensation that you explored guide the way. And notice how you're feeling in your body. As you're sailing along. Fully giving the authority to the driver, which is your heart, the compass. And all the feelings that get triggered, you allow them to flow and move through your body. Knowing that the more you surrender, the more you allow, the more intense you will experience will be. And that's not a bad thing. It shows you how deeply you are participating, how deeply you are immersed in your experience. And you simply bring honoring to that. Because that is what it means to truly live this life. You may be able to feel a calmness underneath, because you know these are just experiences. They don't have to have any meaning. A stressful situation doesn't have to have a meaning from your perception and perspective. You just allow it to be there. You don't need to look for the meaning or the answer. You don't need to know. It can be a sweet relief that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't even have to know where you're going. All you need to do is to follow the movement and the pull, which allows you to experience and to live to the fullest of your capacity. Amazing. Give yourself some time here to sit with this. As you're driving, or really you're being driven, you're being guided, you're being pulled, you can look out the window. You see it's a journey. And you can also see when you're getting closer to something. Because the cool thing about journeys is that on the journey, we get signs, confirmations, rewards, gifts, change as a gift. A recent gift that I've received is that my mom is fully supporting this house property purchase. And my mom used to be the one who was playing a very different role. She was triggering me in a different way. And I accepted the journey with her and what she was trying to teach me, what I was setting up for myself. And the dream or the vision is what kept me moving through the different stages of this experience. And the experience changed as I moved through. If I had stopped, I would have not moved through, and it would not have changed. So my mom had a role to play in me being able to fly through ceilings so I could expand. My potential was capped when I was in this dysfunctional relationship where I was a victim. But those were my own limitations that I placed on myself. I could do what I wanted to do, but I could just not move beyond it until I did. And what kept me moving beyond it was just a pull. I chose to just follow the pull. And that's all I needed to do. And the rest were dominoes, just falling one by one. So we don't have to actively figure anything out. We just follow the pull that keeps us moving. And this navigation system helps us to be really clear about our movement. It helps us to move with our body fully, to bring our body on the journey fully. And it gives us peace. So it's really interesting how our inner beliefs or how our potential and the beliefs around our potential form our outer reality. Just going to give you an example here of the experience I had where I was always hitting a ceiling. Because my power, my energy was sort of stripped because I gave it away. In a physical way, I gave it away. And that also was a situation where a house was involved, where I had put my name down on a house to help my mother, and she was living in that house. So she was sort of trapping me in that house. She was trapping my energy in that house, and I felt I couldn't say no. Couldn't say no to that. Because I felt an obligation, I felt guilty, and I felt I couldn't live without her. Because if I had said no, she would have probably ended our relationship or something like that, like on a deeper level. That was the fear. I couldn't say no. And she took all my power, she took all my energy. And she bound this energy into the house. So the consequence of this was that I had very little room to use my own power, and I couldn't then create more money. And it took me so long to understand this. But this dream of creating more money to be able to have a bigger house and a bigger property, now I'm going to get a property in a 6-figure range. And I don't even have a loan. So that money's just flowing through me. Put down on this land property, I'm holding that. So I had to take my power back. That was a couple of years ago, a little while ago. Had to take my name off that house where she was using. So she was using my energy. And as soon as that was done, the ceiling was broken. And finally, I landed my next bigger income. And so did my partner as well. He was also kind of in it with me because we form a unit. And the main ingredient that was needed there was my trust in myself, trust in God, in this pull. And the only action it took was following the pull. And then everything was sort of shown to me. I just knew what I needed to do. I knew, oh, I need to break this contract. My name can't be on this house. And it's just like light bulbs. So it's never that we need to figure something out. It's enough to know where we want to be, where we want to go. And again, that is abstract. That is just your heart's pull. And when you follow that, the pieces will just align. And then you take action. And roles are very fluid. So the people that play certain roles in our life, these roles change. And those people close and around us, the tyrants and especially the tyrants, they do this with a great deal of love. That is just temporarily obstructed. Because otherwise there wouldn't be any glue. The friction is needed. And it's just masking the depth of love between us and these other souls. And ultimately, this is where we return once a relationship has brought us what it needed to. It will resolve in peace, and you will be able to feel that. Accepting that it takes however long it takes. It's inevitable that it resolves because we're not taking that anywhere with us. We're not creating more karma. We've already agreed on that. And possibly within the relationships now in your life, you are also clearing if there is residue or things that were brought in from previous times. You're doing a deep clean right now. So there's absolutely no way that you're bringing this beyond this point. So take a moment and look at the difficult or the friction relationships full of friction, if you have any right now. And see if you can feel that honoring and see them as the initiators, the engine, the gas, the fuel for the engine that's going to get you to your destination a little quicker. Because they hold that for us. They're catalysts. So the more intense they feel to us, the more powerful they are in pushing us forward, pushing us to where we need to go, where we want to go. And in this beautiful co-creation, you will see that also the other party will be so relieved and happy when the dynamic can change. It's always both ways, but they cannot change before you are ready. They cannot. It's a contract. And you are holding the contract. So have another look into your life's field. You can look at the different contracts or the different agreements. If you don't like the word contract, agreements of growth, agreements of genius, because this is really what they're doing with us. They help us become great. And a good driver is always aware of the journey. He's gauging, she's gauging, she's looking ahead. So it's not about just going on a journey and not knowing where you're going. You do know where you're going. And you can gauge it. You can see what's coming. Especially this is refining our ability to see Because all we're doing is really just tuning in. And we're tuning into that which is guided from our hearts. You may be able to see timelines or events or things lining up like in a linear fashion. And that is absolutely a quality of seeing. And just play with this a little bit. And just go with what interests you most, what's most prominent right now, what's most important right now, or feels present in your life. You can also feel that the journey that you are choosing is not something that you couldn't do. It's not like you're signing up to go on top of a mountain that is like not possible in terms of the Kilimanjaro or something like that. You know that this mountain is just right for you. You can climb it. You've got what it takes. Feel inside you all the qualities, all the gifts, all the refinements that you've already made, that you've already got within. And how amazing and exciting to apply them, these tools. Finally, an opportunity to use them. Finally, you can bring out that toolkit that's going to help you. You've got just the right tool for it, for that next step. You've had it all along. It was always in your toolbox. And finally, you get to use it. Feel the excitement in that. A job that is just right for you. We can really feel the sub-personality of the adventurer and the scout. Both masculine, both active, proactive. And ask yourself now, is there anything stopping you? Is there anything present? Is there any hesitation left? And whenever it feels a bit too focused on a path or a journey, you can always zoom out into your vast self and become aware of that, like the horizontal. And within that vastness, you have all of these different paths and possibilities, and you hold them all. Doesn't this feel amazing? It's amazing to have a choice. It's a privilege to be able to choose. And that's all it is. We are choosing our destiny. We are choosing our lives. It's a co-creation, yes, but it's just a whole lot of options. And it gets so exciting when we can find just the right ones for us. And this is the sacred yes. Are there any areas, anything left in this vast field that you would like to affirm, where you would like to place that sacred yes? You can do that right now. And as you do, it immediately sends out waves, the energy of that sacred yes gets everything moving. And then just observe. Observe your field and the different movements, the different paths. Observe your body, how your body feels as the transmitter of receiving and also sending. The body also receives your sacred yes and straightens up and grounds. Maybe your body is, the balance could be shifted now. I'm feeling the head space is less active. And it could feel heavier here in the heart space, more active. And see how it feels for you. The body also is the receiver of messages. Body plays such a vital role in all of this. You can give your body beautiful, sacred affirmation. Body just follows what you choose as an input. You can give your body relaxation as an input, safety, peace. Choose what feels right for you. Sometimes body is processing things that we are unaware of. So also here, give your body this allowing authority. Body knows. Body is resilient, strong, but fluid. Truly formless. Body is receiver. How does your body desire to feel? How do you want to feel, body, on this journey? We've got to give our bodies permission to relax into it. Because we can't be on a journey and feeling totally nervous about it all the time. And all it takes is to just give body permission to relax. It's actually not the body tensing up, it's us sending the signal. So we break this cycle of feeling contracted or nervous or anxious when we break the sort of process where we are spiraling in our questions and worries and memories. We break that cycle when we allow all these questions to go into the container. And we allow ourselves to be present with what is for us right now. And this is how we can truly relax the body and bring body on the journey with us. Beautiful. How's your body feeling right now? Perfect. Perfect. It's interesting how there are so many fields and so many experiences all at once that we are actually operating through. And when we take a bit of time and can feel into the different things going on, we realize there's sometimes very little needed to shift something around. Amazing. Let's just drop in to close the circle. In gratitude for what you have received from yourself. In honoring of your choices and your unique journey. A journey that doesn't have to mean anything to anyone else but you. Giving that to yourself, that meaning that is completely independent of any beliefs anyone else holds, spiritual or otherwise. It's just about you, what you choose to believe, how you choose to live your life, what you choose to create with it. allowing this unique lens, honoring it, and see where it's guiding you. If there's anything you would like to share before we close, please feel free. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Continue to enjoy this vast field that you created and the refined clarity. I loved how the clarity came in so strongly. Like, it's just so clear what we want. It's so clear where we're going. As soon as we tune into that heart compass navigation, you can apply that whenever you need to, when you feel overwhelmed or unclear.
I absolutely loved the bit about the co-pilot and the
Mm-hmm.
container, because I just think that's a really good visual way to, as you say, when times of doubt or
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm come in, to really just go into that meditation and really imagine that that container is there and you're putting all that in there, and
Yeah.
you don't have to deal with it now. You'll deal with that at the right time. I
Mm.
don't know about you, but sometimes I'd be thinking of things that are what ifs will happen. Oh, in the
Mm.
future, that I'm jumping about 10 steps ahead of where I am right now. And it's like, whereas really at the moment, I don't need to do anything except
Yeah.
relax. And it's like, it's a really great way to kind of just take that stress out of the mind and into that container. I think it's brilliant. And
Yeah.
the pilot then. So thank you. It was absolutely fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's also great to, in terms of energy management, because wherever we are working on it, lots of energy can get lost in questions that are not even relevant in that moment. And then still giving the space to these questions because they are part of us. We can't just ignore them. Yeah. Beautiful. They do. It's lovely to just allow that guidance, even when it seems impossible or unbelievable. And that's how we go into that realm of extraordinary. Amazing. I'm so honored to witness you choosing that. So honored to hold that with you, to do that here right now in our lives, in our relationships, in our community, in our family that we're creating together. Because we're doing it together. Thank you so much for tonight. I enjoy being in your energy and sending you so much love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.